No matter what age your child is, you want the best for their future. What do they want to do after graduation? What career path do they want to take? These questions can be overwhelming. That's why you should ask them this question. What's your E? Seminole County Public Schools ePathway program is designed for your student to choose their own path in life from as many options as we can offer. Whether they're looking to enlist, enroll, or be employed, we're excited to help you and your child make it happen. Want them to enroll in a college or university? We'll help you find the best school for them to continue their education. Learn about grants and programs to help your child obtain their degree at a pace and a cost that works for you both. Are they looking to go straight into employment? Discover a variety of trades and skills that will propel their future. They can learn aviation maintenance, automotive repair, culinary arts, and more to hone their talents in growing industries. Is your child interested in enlistment? We'll help them find the right path of service, whether it's military, law enforcement, fire response, or EMS. They can serve the community while learning skills that will last a lifetime. What's your E? Explore options with ePathways by visiting us online at the link below.
Mr. Cortez, he's a bright young man. When I first met him, he was kind of timid, but I've grown to learn more about him, the struggles that he's been through, the transformation that he's been through in the last 5 months is incredible. I'm actually really proud of him and what he's gone through and how he's changing through my program.
I joined JROTC by accident. My guidance counselor suggested it. I didn't want to do it at all, but had to do it. I plan on just joining a semester, and I ended up loving the course, the instructors, every one of my friends that I've made here in JROTC, and my whole high school life is just surrounded basically on JROTC.
Cadet Cortez, like I said earlier, he's a lot like some of the students who come in here. He does have a lot of natural leadership ability. I think ROTC gave him an opportunity to use that in a course, in a class with students of his peers. And because of that, he's had a very good rapport with other students, extremely beneficial. It's a great leadership opportunity for him. It's also a great leadership opportunity for people around him to see how he acts, how he takes care of himself and other people. And the leadership that he does, he gets into a common ground with these students and explains how things should be done. They look at him, they don't look at him as he's any different, they just look like he's doing it better. So he's leading by example, which is a perfect example of what we want for students here in ROTC.
Well, before JROTC, I was kind of bad kid, rebellious, didn't listen to my parents, I didn't want to really be in school. Joining to ROTC, the instructors taught me discipline, they taught me how to be a better version of myself, and throughout the years I did become a better version of myself, became more respectful towards elders or peers around me. I became more aware of other people's feelings, as well as how to deal with certain emotions of mine and how to lead overall.
And he started to excel, and he started hanging around with the right group of people who helped him excel. And in the end, he took his natural leadership ability, accentuated it, and became a leader inside the Air Force Junior ROTC program.
So I also wanted to join the Marine Corps because my dad is ill and he has many kids, and I know that it will be a struggle for him to pay for all that college tuition for us, and I just wanted to help him out. So I know that the military helps with schooling, and I just know that I want to make him proud. I want to make him proud that he has an excellent son and that I will succeed. So I think that joining the military and being able to succeed throughout not only military but university as well will be very excellent for myself and for my family.
Hello, hello.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'd like to call to order the October 10th, 2023 school board meeting. This evening, if I could introduce Ms. Cardona. Thank you. We have a special invoker tonight.
Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent Beeman, school board members. Tonight we have an amazing student from Seminole High School. They will be doing our invocation and also the Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to introduce Victoria Cardenas. Victoria, come on up, please. Victoria is one of our English language learners. She is also a member of the National Honor Society and also the president of Latinos in Action.
Welcome.
Okay. Good evening, Superintendent Beeman, Chair Krause, Vice Chair Sanchez, and fellow board members. It's an honor to speak to you today. My name is Victoria Cardenas, and I'm a junior at Seminole High School, and as well as a current president at Latinos in Action at Seminole High School. As you all might know, Hispanic Heritage Month runs from September 15 to October 15. It's a very special time of year where we can share and celebrate our rich and diverse culture in Seminole County. Students all over the district have worked hard to display their artistic talents by performing songs, popular dances from different countries, share delicious and traditional food, and recognize the achievements and contributions of Hispanic leaders, heroes throughout history. At Seminole High School, Latinos in Action decorated the cafeteria, hallways with posters of Hispanics who have made a positive impact in different fields. For example, West 2 News anchor Megan Mellado, who's a Seminole County graduate and former ISO student, Emmy-nominated journalist Jose Luis Diepa, and of course our amazing teachers like Ms. Cotto at Seminole High School. We also volunteered at the Hispanic Outreach Festival in Sanford, where we interacted with local community and showcased our culture. This Thursday, we'll be performing a dance at the Hispanic Heritage Show at Greenwood Lakes Middle School, where we hope to inspire younger students to have a sense of pride and belonging. Throughout this month, we have also organized engagement activities at our school with games, face paintings, food tasting. Next week, we'll be hosting a Spirit Week and a pep rally during both lunches and to conclude such a special month. I hope you have been able to participate in some of these wonderful events and learn something new about Hispanic heritage. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening and for your support for all Latinos in Action classes and all Hispanic students at Seminole County. Now, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would also like for us as a collective to take one moment of silence for the people of Israel, if we could. Thank you very much. Let the record reflect that Vice Chair Sanchez, Member Penick, Member Garrick, and Member Davis are here, along with Superintendent Beeman, School Board Attorney Carlene Cole-Palmer, which, by the way, it's her birthday. She's spending it with us. Happy birthday. And Clerk.
We love you.
And Clerk Jill Marimas also. We have any acknowledgements, Clerk? Not this evening? Okay, usually our PTA folks are here. Superintendent, do you have any agenda modifications?
Yes, the addendum for good cause is marked on our electronic agenda by a green flag named addendum item. Board members, I'm pulling 6J, inventory removals of fixed assets, and it will be brought back to you at a later meeting.
Thank you. Board members, the roll call order this evening, Member Garrick, Vice Chair Sanchez, Member Penick, Member Davis, and then myself. Member Garrick, do you have any agenda modifications?
I do not.
Thank you. Vice Chair Sanchez?
No modifications, thank you.
Member Penick?
No, ma'am.
Member Davis?
No.
And I don't have any either. Is there a motion to approve the agenda outline?
So moved.
Second.
Member Garrick and Member Penick, second. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Superintendent, do we have any presentations or recognitions this evening?
We have both, and we'll start with our Veteran of the Month, Teacher James Baird, and he will be introduced by Principal Frasca.
Thank you. Welcome, Principal.
Good evening, Superintendent Beeman and board members. It is an honor for me tonight to be able to introduce you to our fantastic teacher from Haggerty High School, Mr. Jim Baird, this month's Veteran of the Month. Mr. Baird graduated from the U.S. Army's basic training course in 1987. He served 3 years as an air traffic controller at Fort Benning, Georgia. While serving at Fort Benning, Mr. Baird participated in Operation Just Cause, the U.S. invasion of Panama to arrest Manuel Noriega. After serving 3 years, he attended the University of Central Florida, where he majored in political science and met his wife, Rosalind Baird. After graduating in the top 10% of his class, Mr. Baird was commissioned as a second lieutenant and was accepted to flight school, where he became a helicopter pilot, earning qualifications in the UH-60 Blackhawk, UH-1, OH-58, and TH-67 aircraft. While stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, he deployed to the former Yugoslavia as part of a NATO peacekeeping force to help end the civil war and genocide that was occurring. After his time in Texas, then Captain Baird served in Korea as a brigade operations officer near the demilitarized zone, followed by an assignment in Germany. While stationed in Germany, the September 11th attacks occurred, and Mr. Baird made his first deployment to Iraq as an assault company commander. Upon returning from Iraq, Mr. Baird served in California and Kansas while also earning his master's degree in international relations from St. Mary's University. In 2008, he redeployed to Iraq as a major and served as the officer in charge of an advisor team that lived with and trained Iraqi military units on procedures for conducting combat operations. In his final duty station, Mr. Baird was promoted to lieutenant colonel and served as the executive officer for the U.S. Army's flight school responsible for training American and allied nation helicopter pilots. In 2012, Mr. Baird retired after 20-plus years of military service. Seeking to share his knowledge and experiences, he became a teacher at Oviedo High School while earning his teaching certification. In 2019, he came to the better side of town and began teaching at Haggerty High School, where he coached football and lacrosse at both schools. Mr. Baird's wife of 29 years, Rosalind Baird, is an administrative assistant at Oviedo High School, where she was just named Employee of the Year, so congratulations to her. And they have 3 children, all of which graduated from Oviedo High School. Congratulations and thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Baird, for your years of service to our country and to our students.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well, good evening, and I'm sorry that my principal had to bring up the rivalry between the Oviedo groups, but we'll continue that on the field in a few weeks, I think, as well. We'll see who the winners are. All right, so this evening I have the joy of bringing forth the next group from Lake Howell High School, who we have some great things that have happened to them, so I'd like to take this time to welcome the mock trial team from Lake Howell High School. So on the weekend of September 23rd and 24th, our Lake Howell High School mock trial team registered 2 teams, the silver team as well as the blue team, at the Florida State University's annual Sunshine State Showdown. During the competition, students assumed the roles of attorneys and witnesses in a courtroom simulation against other schools across the state of Florida. In each trial, students performed opening statements, direct and cross examinations, and closing arguments in front of a judge and members of a jury. Their scores were based on their overall performance. We are proud to announce that the blue team placed 3rd overall against 16 other teams from across the state, and then coming home with the gold medal, the silver team placed 1st place in the state. You want me to say that last part one more time? Let's make sure we get this. The blue team got 3rd place overall against 16 teams, and coming home with the gold medal, the silver team placed 1st place in all of the state of Florida. Congratulations. So additionally, they also received some additional awards of the best witness, the best attorney, and these were the highest rankings throughout each of the 4 rounds they competed in. So joining them tonight, congratulations to their sponsor, Mr. Prevette, and then the principal of Lake Howell High School, Mr. Michael Howard.
Proud dad in the picture. Yes.
Board members, our Focus on Student Achievement presentation tonight will be presented by Ms. Cardona and Ms. Lopez as they make their way to the microphones. There we go.
Abby's here enjoying some of your delicious cake. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, there you go. We still have some more in the
Gracias.
back. Yes. Good evening, Superintendent Beatman and school board members. Thank you for allowing us this time to share our results from the Access for ELS assessment. I am Minnie Cardona, ESOL World Languages Director, and with me tonight I have
Veronica Lopez. I'm the program specialist for ESOL compliance.
Okay. Before we start with the access results, I always like to start with the demographics, our current demographics in Seminole County. Currently, right now, English language learners, they're coded in Skyward with an LY. Those are our current students. We have 3,780 students. LFs is the code we use in Skyward for students that have exited from the program, and we still monitor for the next 2 years. We have 927. And at this time, we have immigrant students in our district. We have 2,254 students.
And just to add on to those demographics, to put in perspective, if you look at the number towards the bottom in the middle, there were 7,317 students in our district who we screened for ESOL services but did not qualify. Across our district, we have 139 countries represented, the top 5 being Venezuela, India, Colombia, Guatemala, and Cuba. And in addition to that, there are 126 languages spoken, the top being Spanish, Telugu, Arabic, Portuguese, and Hindi.
So before we get to the results, I want to discuss or explain a little bit about Access for ELS. What does the assessment entail? The Access for ELS is the tool that is used in the state of Florida to measure the language proficiency levels of our English language learners. It ensures that we're meeting the needs of our students and our students are academically successful in their content area classes. The Access is developed as part of the WIDA Consortium, which is located at the University of Wisconsin. This is where they develop the test items, they screen them, make sure that they are reliable test items. State of Florida was the last state to join the WIDA Consortium. There are 41 states that are part of this membership. The WIDA stands for the World Class Instructional Design and Assessment. And I have to say this is year 5 of Access for ELS testing. It has, the portal has a wealth of resources to help administrators and teachers with how to test our students, but more importantly, the PD that is provided is how on strategies to service our English language learners. I love the website. I love all the resources they provide, especially for the teachers, for the content area teachers. So the Access for ELS assessment is not only testing the students on the basic interpersonal communication skills, the social skills, but it also tests the students on the academics. So there are 5 standards embedded on the assessment. So the English language development, that's the ELD standards, our language for social, language for language arts, standard 3 language for mathematics, standard 4 language for science, and standard 5 language for social studies. So on the assessment, the students will find, for example, for the language arts ELA, compare and contrast, provide the evidence. Those kind of questions that we will find on FAST, right? So it's aligned to the FAST assessment too. Language for mathematics, they won't have the students give the answers to the math side, but it will have academic vocabulary that the students need to be aware of and know what it means. Language for science, for example, one of the sample tests will be like the cycle of the butterfly. So again, academic vocabulary in science. Social studies, they have graphs, they have tables. Everything that we'll find in FAST, we will find similar test items on Access too. So for a newcomer, it is not an easy assessment, but we want to see the progress that the students are making in the language. So these are the levels of language proficiency that the students will find on their results, and the teachers get a copy of this and the parents too. Our newcomers usually land on level 1 entering into the program, but we want to see the progression right in these levels. And as we see that, it's really fascinating to me when I see a newcomer Then the second year, they're up and developing or expanding. And we have students that have reached up to level 6, which is the highest level of the language proficiency skills. Our students that land on level 4, expanding, this is one of the criteria to exit the student from the program. And this year we have had success. We had over 500 students that were exited from the program.
Okay, so here we're looking at the results for statewide results for the 2023 spring administration of the Access for ELS. So I call your attention to the first line that's highlighted in yellow. That represents all students in K through 12 who participated in the assessment. 290,728 students were tested across the state, reaching a 14% proficiency rating across the state. Below that, you can see the breakdown by grade level.
And we'll probably go back to the slide, but it's very interesting to see by the state, the proficient students by grade level, and then compare it to our district. And you'll see that coming up soon.
Watch this. You'll see the orange line represents the state. The blue line represents Seminole County Public Schools at 28%, 28.3%. And you'll note that throughout the years, we are consistently above the state average. Here we have the breakdown of the performance by domain. So the assessment is divided into 4 domains: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. So in 2022, that's represented with the blue bar. We did very well, and we did very well again in 2023, represented with the orange bar. Now you will notice that there is a slight decline in the scores, in the percentage of proficiency, and we attribute that to the large influx of newcomers that we had into our district. So in 2022, we had 632 newcomers versus 2023, where we had 983 newcomers.
And in this chart, you will see the English language proficient now by grade level. And if you notice from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade, the blue bar standing for the district percentage and the orange bar, the state percentage, we outperform at each grade level the state average. So I say thank you to all of our teachers, our ESOL teachers, content area teachers. It took all of them, all of us working together. We are making progress with our English language learners.
At the elementary level, this is the breakdown by grade level from grades K through 5 on each domain. You'll notice that in the younger grades, writing is the weakest domain because, of course, they're all still learning how to write. The highest scoring domains are going to be the listening and the speaking, which we experience as adults too when we're trying to understand a foreign language. And as they get older, you'll see that the reading also increases as they go forward. And then at the middle school, again, speaking and listening are still at the top, but now we're seeing a bigger increase where reading and writing are starting to kind of level off with one another. As they get older, they're picking up those skills and becoming more proficient.
Then at the high school level, you can see also the growth of students making gains on all 4 domains of the language. I do want to say that high school, this is the first year that we have had the highest percentage of students that score proficient on Access 2.0. It was a 34.5%, which I'm very, very proud of our students, our teachers. Everyone worked really hard. They were very strategic in the lessons that we were working on with our ELLs at the high school level, and it really showed on the Access assessment. And this slide, prepared by our wonderful Assessment and Accountability Office, I take a lot of pride on too. The first column, you can see all districts where Seminole County placed. We were 3rd. The first 2 districts did amazing too, but they did not have 3,000 else that were tested. Second column, you could tell there, districts with test takers over 3,000. We placed number 1 with a 28%. And in Central Florida, we also ranked number 1. So again, a lot of hard work, but I say our teachers are amazing. working together with all teachers, and I say content area teachers, ESOL teachers, really to assist every and each English language learner that we have in the district. And we're making sure that we're meeting their needs. So we already started planning. I'll just conclude with the last slide. At the best summer ever training, we took advantage of those days working with our teachers on assisting them with strategy, small group interventions, working on the WIDA standards, and also analyzing the access data so the teachers become very familiar with the skills, and also in planning and helping our students throughout the academic school year. We already have the dates ready. The teachers are aware of this, so we're just getting ready for the next assessment. And that is our presentation. Any questions?
Thank you so much. Board members, let's go by roll call order. Member Garrick, any questions?
I just wanted to say thank you so much. It is always inspiring to see the work that you're doing. I especially want to commend you on all of the building community events that you're doing, whether it's Latinos in Action or reaching out to families to make sure that they feel embraced in part of SCPS. So it's something that I know is very valuable to them and makes for a stronger investment and ultimately greater gains for our students. So thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Sanchez?
Also, on that, I appreciate everything our teachers do every day and everything that you do by leading by example. And I also wanted to mention that, of course, these tests are taken in a language that they're not familiar with, that is brought down by the state, which infuriates me. So I'm impressed with their grades and their scores. However, I would love our state to acknowledge that these students need to, I mean, I couldn't imagine reading and doing a test in a language that I don't understand, or being in a classroom, and they're always so well behaved and doing their hardest work, working diligently, and everything that you do. So, of course, one day, you know my goal, everybody to learn a second language starting in kindergarten up. Thank you again.
Thank you. Member Pennick?
Thank you, Dr. Cardona. I appreciate the stats. I'm a stat girl, and I just love seeing your heart on paper. This is a result of what you and your whole team put into these students, our teachers as well. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Member Davis?
And I just want to thank all of you. It is unbelievable the progress that they're making. And I know because of our staff, our teachers, and you all, that it's only going to improve from here. It's a lot of hard work. I've seen some of it in action, but not all of it. And I know how hard you guys work for these kids. And I know they appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And I would just add, I hope you feel proud, and I hope you share that with your teachers, your ESOL teachers as well. Thank you for doing the hard work. It shows by the data, and we're very proud of our district.
Thank you. I am very proud of all of them. We did celebrate for 2 minutes at our in-service. But the student that was here tonight, I think, Victoria, she is a perfect example. She's been in this country for 6, 7 years from Venezuela. And listen to her English. I'm so proud of her. Congratulations, Victoria. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's now time for board items for discussion, non-committee reports. Let's start with Member Garrick. Any comments?
I wanted to say a special thank you. I see some of our folks here from Health and Wellness. We had an incredible event at Topgolf. These people know how to party. It was packed. They rented out the entire facility. There were, golf carts carting people back and forth. It really was phenomenal. And the event itself was special and very well run, but over and over and over again, I heard from teachers and staff just how appreciated they felt. So especially in these times where teachers don't always get the love and respect they deserve, I'm glad that you were able to find a way to tell our folks just how much we do appreciate them. Real quick, I wanted to let people know that Teach-In is November 15th. So there's still time to register to be a dividend. We need folks to teach in and volunteer at every grade level. So please make a point. The information is online. And I'll let somebody else have a chance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Sanchez.
Kudos to that as well. The event, a wellness event that Orlando Health was our main sponsor. Yep. None of it came out of our pockets, so you know. It was unbelievable. And we had a laughing room. See Amy Smith back there. And your whole team just went above and beyond. I never in a million years expected it to be that extensive. The laughing room, the yoga, the Zumba classes, the health eating, the DJ Mike Godrow. Of course, I didn't get off the dance floor. And all the different strategies that everybody was doing on each floor. And like the same thing that Member Garrick said, everybody was coming up and saying they needed this so much, and it was really greatly appreciated. So thank you. Also, with the Hispanic Heritage Month, there are so many events coming up this weekend, this week, tonight, today, every day, celebrating our Latinos in action. And Superintendent Beeman and I had an opportunity to celebrate at Lake Brantley last week. Was it last week, I believe? I don't know. These weeks are all rolling in to get each other. But there's a major one this weekend at Lake Mary, Greenwood Lakes, Millennium, Greenwood. So please come out and celebrate with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, where are we? Member Penick.
I have none.
Thank you. Member Davis?
I don't have anything either. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. I would like to, in tonight's book, there's an ITN for internet services, and I know you all have raised your hands and picked other ones to sit on, so I will be happy to do that one.
Thank you,
okay.
Chair Kraus.
Thank you very much. Okay. It is now time for public comment agenda items. Vice Chair, would you please read the speech?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Didn't have it out. All right. And pardon my voice. I think Member Garrick and I were hanging out a little bit too much and are passing a cold around. Policy 0169.1, public participation at board meetings. The purpose of public participation segments at board meeting is to allow the public to address matters within the board's jurisdiction and not to resolve individual grievances or disputes. Public comments related to education, the board agenda, and the district are welcome and encouraged, but public comment segments are not forums to engage in any personal attacks against school system employees or board members. To maintain orderly conduct, the public comment segments of the meeting may not be used as open forums to discuss matters unrelated to education, to support or oppose candidates for public office, including presentations of political and/or campaign issues, announcing candidacy and/or campaigning, or to engage in commercial speech, attempting to sell a service or product to the board or to the public, nor are they forums to address matters involving disciplinary actions of any kind, pending claims, complaints, or litigations against the district or district personnel. Public comment segments durations are as follows. Agenda items limited to 3 minutes. One group representative speaking on a proposition, maximum of 6 minutes. Speaker must remain on topic for agenda item, proposition, and non-agenda items are limited to 2 minutes. Speakers shall address or direct their comments only to the board and may not address the audience or other speakers. No speaker may yield his or her time to any other person. Generally, substitutions of speakers will not be allowed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have 6 agenda item speakers. First on deck is Kathy Mancun, M-A-N, thank you, followed by Robin Dellinger, followed by Deborah Kraus. Hi, good evening.
Good evening, my name is Kathy Mannion and I live in Oviedo, Florida. And I would like to address the overall environmental feel when I go into schools. I'm the parent of 2 SCPS children, and I have been involved in the school for 9 years. Every industry is subjected to draconian rules and regulations oftentimes by people who don't know the ripple effect or the end result of what that rule is going to have. I think the education industry does have probably more of a burden on that than most other industries. However, the response to those rules and regulations is what's key for the environment that our kids are in and our teachers and our staff. Over the last several months, I have perceived an environment of fear in our schools, a fear that the teachers are going to be fired, a fear that their kids are going to have substitutes nonstop, and that's not a healthy environment for any of us. And I would challenge you to consider a different mode of leadership. The Disney movies tell us princesses to face adversity, gather our troops around us, and go fight the good fight. Accountants and lawyers tell us to be super conservative and mitigate all risk as much as possible. I think there is somewhere in between that you can settle on. And I would just, COVID started this environment of fear and anger, and I would just challenge you to take an initiative and not wait for Tallahassee to tell you how to implement something. Gather your teams. You guys have exceptional staff and teachers. Come up with a solution that works best for all involved. And evaluate the risks. Come off of some of that, oh, the letter of the law is here. I know educators want to follow the rules, but sometimes the rules are stupid, and you just need to push the envelope a little bit. Document why you're not following the rule like somebody else would do, so that when someone does call it into question, they can say, oh, it wasn't malintent, it was just simply they interpreted it differently. Allow for a better, more cohesive interpretation, and make sure your stakeholders know you have their back. That's been the most disheartening thing for me, is when I hear a teacher say, I don't think they'll fight for me. And it's teachers that have been here for years. And I know we can't control Tallahassee, but we can control the response, and I just encourage you to.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Robin Dellinger, followed by Deborah Kraus, and
Order,
followed by
please.
Lynn Moyer Dichter. Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, board members and Superintendent Beeman. My name's Robin Dellinger. I have a few remarks related to Agenda Item 6AT, Selection and Adoption of Instructional Materials, Policy 2520. First, I'd like to again commend the work of our district and school leaders and teachers as they continuously work to focus instruction on the Florida standards, utilizing the district's adopted instructional materials and the library and classroom materials as well. The recommended policy amendments update the procedures that were already in place to comply with the 2023 statutes and rule. I would like to state again what many individuals, including myself, shared at the last board meeting. Parents have always had the right to supervise their students' education, including the instructional materials utilized. Parents have always had the right to request different materials or not allow the children to participate in instruction which did not support their personal beliefs. As a principal, I was involved in a few instances where I worked with the teachers and a parent to meet their students' very specific needs, sometimes offering a different book or material. Also, as an assistant superintendent, I supported principals when they worked with parents in similar scenarios. These were very rare instances. Generally speaking, principals did a great job of addressing concerns as they worked with parents and teachers collaboratively. Every student has the right to learn about the world without restrictions and censorship so they can become informed, critical thinking, productive decision-making members of our democracy. Teachers and parents working in partnership serve the best interests of students, and respectful collaboration is an essential component of such a partnership. Parents have always had the right to make educational decisions for their own students, but should not make decisions for other parent students. If a parent or resident has an objection, they should follow the process to advocate for their concern. Coming to a board meeting and reading passages out of context does not indicate a serious documented objection. It is important for books to be reviewed by trained personnel to determine if, when taken as a whole, they have serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value for students. Moving forward, I am positive that Seminole County Public Schools will continue to work to ensure that all of our students can engage and interact with meaningful instructional resources and library and classroom materials that reflect the diversity within our community for all of our students. When teachers support their students, the students can thoughtfully consider others' perspectives and experiences and learn to live productively in our great country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, Deborah Kraus, followed by Lynn Moira Dichter, followed by Raquel Molina.
All right.
Hi, good evening.
Evening. My name is Deborah Kraus. I'm from Altamont, and I'm here to talk about agenda item Superintendent Annual Review. Unlike other constitutional officers approved every 2, 4, or even 6 years by the voters, the appointed superintendent is held only accountable to the school board and answers directly to the school board, not the public. So currently, the only qualification for school board superintendent in Florida is that that person must be or must not be convicted of a felony or be adjudicated mentally incompetent and must live in the school district they wish to represent. So currently, that is the only qualification. When Charlotte County was looking for a new superintendent of schools, some of their listed requirements were, 1, a minimum of 10 years of progressively responsible administrative experience in education leadership in a district with 10,000 students or more, and 2, holds or is eligible for Florida certification in education leadership, administration, and supervision, or school principal or equivalent. They also included their preferred qualifications of having 3 years of district-level educational experience and classroom and principal public school experience. Ultimately, they hired Mr. Valentello. I don't know who that is, but their school board took great care in selecting a candidate who would best serve their needs of Charlotte County students' population. Mr. Valentello had been a teacher at the elementary, middle, and high school levels, a principal of both an elementary and a high school, the executive director of student services, the executive director of career and technical education, a deputy superintendent, and served as the chief operations officer for Marion County Public Schools. His exemplary qualifications made him an ideal candidate for the position. This is widely different than how Ms. Beeman controversially came into power and her listed experience. In fact, I believe I may have more classroom teaching experience than Ms. Beeman, who in her biography never mentions teaching in any school or even taking undergraduate educational classes at Stetson University during her quest for a political science degree. Moreover, a law degree combined with legal experience representing SPSC does not equal a doctoral degree or a master's degree in education combined with teaching and/or educational administrative experience. Real classroom teaching experience is such a fundamental, basic requirement that most counties and most states require their superintendents of school to have an active teaching license. I'm going to skip down. Ms. Beeman has failed to adequately perform her duties by neglecting to propose adequate discipline guidelines and ensure the safety of all students. She has failed to control what materials are being taught to our children, such as adult conduct and mandatory readings. An example would be The Handmaid's Tale in an AP literature class. She has failed to ensure that SPCS Skyward system was consistent throughout the district and properly locked down to not allow random school administrators to make changes. When realized that that was the case, she failed to come across
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Thank you. Lynn Moira Dichter, followed by Raquel Molina, followed by Jessica Tillman. Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lynn Moira Dichter, 40-year resident of Seminole County and proud mother of 2 SCPS Seminole High School graduates. I'm here to offer praise and support for Superintendent Sarita Beeman. Her 2023 annual evaluation is on the agenda tonight after new business. Superintendent Beeman has been targeted, and yes, I use that word intentionally, targeted, since her first days as superintendent. Superintendent Beeman, as our superintendent, has proven, to no one's surprise, to be smart, tireless, and uber committed to Seminole County students, teachers, and staff. She is committed to all of our marginalized communities across Seminole County, and we are extraordinarily lucky to have her. Now, as I'm sure you're aware, there are false narratives floating around about our first female African-American superintendent by these known local hate groups, deriding her and challenging her and chastising her for nonsense. But to anyone watching, and we are definitely watching, this is thinly veiled racism. And actually, for anyone with a brain, it's not so thinly veiled, is it? Let's call it what it is, straight up, another page in their racist, bigoted playbook. So for those of you here who are members of or are playing footsie with this group, thinking that your actions are in the shadows, I'm here to put you on notice. As our public servants, as our elected officials, your actions and your consequences and your connections to these hate groups are in the spotlight, under the microscope, if you will, during what I and thousands of common sense Seminole County parents hope is your final year on this esteemed school board or in any other elected office in Seminole County. Thank you.
Thank you. Raquel Molina, followed by Jessica Tillman. Hi, good evening.
Good evening. My name is Raquel Molina. I've been living in Seminole County for over 25 years, and my daughter Emily Potts graduated from Winter Springs High School. I'm here to speak in regards to item BJ, bullying and harassment. And by the way, Moms for Liberty group is not a hate group, and I am part of that group, and I don't hate anyone at all. Bullying and harassment are widespread problems in Florida and globally. Students who are bullied are increased risk of experiencing health problems, academic structures, unfortunately more high school dropouts. As you all know, that if a student is bullied by another kid or even by a teacher in some cases, the school has a legal duty to keep the students safe. And I mean safe. The schools should also provide supports and interventions when bullying, harassment is towards an ESC student by a teacher or teacher's aide, like in Emily's case. Instead of admin covering up abuse, ask the parents if the child can benefit from emotional or mental health counseling or therapy for the student. No, that never happened with Emily. Sadly, Seminole County Public School will lie to the parents like they did with me and pretend they are following and enforcing their policies and procedures. Oh my. Do you all know what is a protected class? I didn't, but I learned the hard way. I mean, it was the hard way. A protected class is a group of people for whom our civil rights laws provide protections because they have been discriminated against and treated unfairly, like many students in Seminole County Public School. Equal educational opportunities needs to be available to all students, all, A-L-L, students without the protected class. Last but not least, please implement a policy that reflects all bullying, harassment forms, and witness statements should be signed, dated, and notarized, please. Once the forms are notarized, a copy should be given to the parents. The witness statement provided to me by Seminole County Public School admin was never signed, dated, or notarized by the ESCT teacher. Why? I never got a response from, I'm not going to mention the name. Why is the policy for written statement made by teachers that are asked to make, what is the policy?
Thank you, your time has expired.
Make a statement by admin.
Thank
what is
you,
the policy?
your time has expired.
I'll email you. I'll ask for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Jessica Tillman, good evening.
My name is Jessica Tillman, and I'm the chair and will be speaking on behalf of Moms for Liberty, Seminole County. Because the board and superintendent neglected to do the right thing, parents, grandparents, and taxpayers had to act bravely. They felt it necessary to read horrible passages aloud at the podium in hopes to inform others. It is important we take notice of which board members, alongside the superintendent, were silent to keep sexually explicit books on school library shelves. The superintendent should be fired for ignoring pornographic materials for 34 days over paperwork. New legislation, House Bill 1069, Education Bill, with an effective date of July 1, 2023, makes it legal to challenge books at the podium. Line 13 states, parents shall have the right to read passages from the material that is subject to an objection. If a school board denies a parent the right to read passages due to the content, school board district shall discontinue the material. The one board member who did reach out to me told me she told the superintendent to ignore the form. On the 19th, all of the books were still in the schools. You continue to gaslight this community, and we will continue to show up. We must stop pretending the superintendent is qualified for her equitably installed position, which is exactly why our chair voted for her. The board is mysteriously not concerned with the superintendent. It is your job as a board member to evaluate the superintendent with actual constructive feedback. The previous superintendent, who had education teaching experience, administrative experience, and a PhD in education leadership, only had perfect scores his last 3 years out of 12. The superintendent works for the board, not the other way around. You need to start acting like it. You have denied cameras in special needs classrooms, even though there's evidence it helps protect our most vulnerable students, because you're not required to by law. And our congressman has said that he would help with funding. You deny the Guardian program because we have SROs. Even though there is state-level funding, you could, as a district, require all guardians to be trained on the level of any sheriff or police officer. You're allowing schools to require students to download apps for hall passes that goes against new legislation requiring students' phones to be put away. Overflowing buses, dropping kids off at the wrong bus stop in a lightning storm, the downgrading and hiding of incidents on campuses. Thank goodness you allowed the constitutions to be donated. And now you want teachers to monitor student mental health? I can't imagine why we have a teacher and staff shortage. We have warned that there are pornographic books in Seminole County for more than a year. As Moms for Liberty, we've made plenty of local news and even national news on this issue. We've served on local and state committees, as well as having a huge hand in making legislation changes to make books, like you heard on the 19th, be permanently removed from the hands of unaccompanied minor children in school libraries and school classrooms across Florida. Schools should not be providing sexually explicit content to students. Parents who think that their children should be exposed can buy the books for them. We reject the false narrative that we are banning books. Shame on the superintendent and the board for knowingly and willingly ignoring this illegal material for 34 days. Procedures are not law, but it is the law that you cannot knowingly provide pornography to minors. This district knowingly broke the law. We submitted to the district on September 5th 57 books that were illegal on the library shelves. As an attorney, you would think the superintendent would know better and be concerned to move it promptly. On September 14th, almost 10 days after the district received our list, I was finally contacted, conveniently 2 days after I submitted a public records request for the email sent to the superintendent regarding our list. I was contacted by email saying the district is on top of reviewing books due to new legislation, a new favorite phrase of the district. And many of our books were already on your list. 11 books on our list was not even addressed. I then submitted another public records request for the communication sent to the coordinator of instructional projects from the superintendent. 50 books were finally removed yesterday and at least one today. Thank you for removing these books. What is the process and who is going to ensure these books are actually removed off the shelves? I do want to thank the board member who inquired with the district why the books were not removed yet. I would also like to point out how convenient it was that the superintendent evaluation was to be moved to this meeting swiftly by the chair in the last meeting. No reason why, and no member questioned it. Why? Board members have stated they were in shock by the material and at the board meeting and had no idea that there was even a list. Yet you did not speak up and ask the attorney or the chair why pornographic material were being read at the podium. You were all CC'd on my public records request, so you had to know the material was there about the list. At no time did any other board member reach out to me for the list. Why not? You all have my contact information, and as of yesterday, most of the books that were read were removed from SCPS. So I have to ask, if the book has been removed, that means you found it inappropriate, but yet allowed our community members to read inappropriate material? Where on earth is the sense in that? while at the same time allowing people who live outside of this district come speak against a group of your community, going against your own public participation policy. I doubt these instances reflect in the superintendent's evaluation tonight, but everyone knows the district is on fire, and it's at the hands of this superintendent and you complacent board members. This is what happens when you have an attorney for a superintendent who was equitably installed.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes public comment agenda items. Superintendent, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, I do, that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice Chair, seconded by Member Panic. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. There's no unfinished business, no new business. So next up is the superintendent's evaluation, and I will handle that one, letter A, if I may. So as part of the superintendent's contract terms, she is to be evaluated by each school board member annually by October 1st of each school year. The board individually evaluated the 5 professional standards. There's multiple professional requirements within each of those standards. Rating of 4, highly effective. Rating of 3, effective. Rating of 2, needs improvement. Rating of 1, unsatisfactory. Additionally, each board member has the opportunity to offer comments and suggestions. The standards, the first standard is vision and culture, and Ms. Beeman received a collective average score of 3.4. Next standard, business operations. Ms. Beeman received a collective score of average of 3.3. The next standard, board governance and policy. Superintendent Beeman received a collective average score of 3.4. The fourth standard, communication and community relations. Superintendent Beeman received a collective average of 3.27. And the fifth and final, ethical leadership. Superintendent Beeman received a collective average score of 3.44. Overall performance is 3.39 collectively, which is rated effective. Per her contract, her employment is extended through June 30th of 2027. And that concludes.
Order, please. Order. Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent, do you have a report?
I do, and I know that we are all hopeful that we'll get to talk to the UF researchers that are over at Millennium tonight for math night, but I want to say thank you to Beth Pocious and Tiffany Spradling for taking the lead on the listening tour that is taking place today with the UF researchers and the math night, the math community night that is happening right now. It has been a wonderful day, and we are very hopeful that our community, our parents, our administrators, our teachers' involvement in this research related to math will pay many, many dividends for our students in the future. Thank you for coming to be introduced and have lunch with our researchers today, and we'll keep you updated. So, want to also again say thank you to Dawn Bunce and Amy Smith and the team for the wonderful, wonderful mental health event that took place at Topgolf. After our last board meeting, we had record high involvement and engagement by our employees. Thank you all for supporting that opportunity for all of our employees. We are looking forward to, and Dawn's not here, so I can say this, to another one next year. So we'll tell her when she gets back. And then I also want to share with you all that with your votes tonight, we are welcoming Dr. Mark Mullins as the next Assistant Superintendent of Operations to the Seminole County Public Schools family. He will get started on October 23rd. So thank you, and that's my report.
Thank you, Superintendent. It's now time for board committee updates, and we'll start with Member Garrick, please.
I had the opportunity to sit in on the Business Advisory Board Committee, and it was one of the most productive meetings that we've had in a long, long time. Director Cirkovich, our communications officer, came to the meeting, and she outlined a presentation by which the board members will reach out to their individual communities with the goal of attracting more business partners to SCPS. So they were very happy about that. I also wanted to share something that I read on the news, and I think that several of us have shared it as well, that there's an opportunity to nominate teachers for recognition on Spectrum 13. So if you don't have that link, I'm happy to get it to you. But it's a great way to share the stories that are happening in SCPS. I did take to heart some of the comments that we heard this evening, and it is imperative that we continue to let our teachers know that they are supported. We value the work they do, and for those of us who are invested stakeholders in SCPS, please continue to share your stories. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Vice Chair Sanchez?
First, I'll go ahead with my zoo report. The Zoo Boo Bash starts this weekend. There's lots of fun activities planned for those dates. The first one is October 14th on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Of course, you don't have to stay the whole time, but there's plenty of events and activities for our children. They also will have it October 21st, 22nd, and then again on October 28th and 29th. So I encourage anyone that hasn't had an opportunity to visit our Central Florida Zoo website to go to the website and check out all the wonderful events that are taking place. Also, we have the Asian Lantern Festival. Tickets are being sold now. We have some exciting new exhibits that will be out, and hoping that everybody can attend. Keep in mind that tickets do sell out, so it's important that you buy them as soon as you can. You're locked in on a date and a time when you purchase them, and like I said, the tickets go on sale now, and it's the dates for the Asian Lantern Festival, which is an evening event, are from November 17th until January 14th, 2024. So please get your tickets. You're in for an exciting evening. And there's also a lot of activities, like I said last time, that you can take your children to during the day. Some wonderful educators there that are phenomenal. So please do that. Also, the coalition meeting that I chair, the Central Florida School Board Coalition with the 14 districts. We had our FSBA, Florida School Board Association, legislative advocate, Dr. Danielle Thomas speak. And currently, right now, we are in the process of committees just starting to meet. Looks like next week, some of the education committees will be meeting. I encourage everyone to please email your legislators. Go to Tallahassee, speak up. I need your voices heard. A lot of things that are happening because of what's happening in Tallahassee. So please speak up and help our teachers as well as our students and all of our employees. And other than that, I wanted to do a shout out to the League of Women Voters and the phenomenal event that they did with South Seminole Academy. That the event for our future women leaders was phenomenal. Girls in government, sorry. And we all had an opportunity to be there, and we all were divided into different groups along with other elected officials. And it was a phenomenal event. So thank you to the league for organizing this amazing event. I believe there'll be another one in March. And we'll continue to do the great things that they are doing. And on that note, don't forget there's all the Hispanic Heritage Festivals that are coming up this weekend. We have a massive one at Lake Mary that's always fun. My dance partner, Superintendent Beeman, and I will be on the dance floor. And I think that Dr. Cody will be joining us as well. And I know Minnie will already be there too. So we will be dancing away. So please join us.
Thank you. Member Pennick.
I had FSBA Advocacy Friday in Gainesville, and about 20 of us on the committee went through all of the legislative advocacy platforms that the school district submitted. Grateful to say that 2 of ours were passed through as consideration for the FSBA advocacy list, and 2 of them were pushed through onto the deregulation, so that will include those in language. So our next meeting is at the end of this month, not right away. So as soon as we have more updates on the progress and what we are choosing as our legislative platform, I will share that. And that was it.
Thank you so much. Member Davis, committee reports.
Tomorrow, any of you would like to participate, it's by Zoom and in person. As far as what they do is, you know, they're an organization that combines assistance with other organizations to assist our community, not only with homelessness, but hunger, mental health, anything that our kids are going through. And there are a lot of organizations that are members. You can also join to be members. I know they're looking for some key positions to be filled. And then the reason I wanted to mention what they do is because today is World Homeless Day. I don't know if you were all aware of that, and so I want you all to send your hopes or your blessings to those that are more in need than we are. And, you know, I just hope that as a community, we can put out the effort that we've been putting out and even try to exceed in that, because we still have many homeless students right here in our county, and I just hope that you all keep them in your head. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I participated in our foundation board retreat last Friday. They reviewed, once again, they had a perfect audit, which was presented to all of us, and very proud of that, best practices. They are also finalizing plans for November 4th is a night of impact. We all will be attending that. They still have some tickets available to support that. So if you're interested, please look on our foundation website. I sent you the last minutes, and I will forward from the retreat once I receive those as well. And I too just wanted to comment and thank Don Bonds and the entire wellness team for providing for our employees a tremendous event. There was no alcohol involved, and people stayed and enjoyed each other in spite of healthy drinks and fun activities. I estimate about 1,700. There was no parking anywhere. They were buzzing us with the little golf carts. So it was a fabulous event, and we all attended. Also thank our Seminole County Council PTA organized a principal and president's breakfast that we all attended, an opportunity to gather together and highlight some of the good work that each of our PTAs are doing with their blessing of their principals. Superintendent and I also toured a couple of schools, Redbug Elementary and Carillon. They're orbiting to excellence, and we all enjoy doing our school visits. So that's my report. And it now comes time for public comments, non-agenda items. 2 minutes each. We have quite a few. First up is Franklin Perez, on deck Bree O'Donnell, followed by Ann O'Donnell, and you'll have 2 minutes, please. Hi, welcome.
Hi, my name is Franklin Perez, and I've been a resident of Seminole County since September of 1998. I would like to show my support for Superintendent Sarita Beeman. Why is this even necessary? It's necessary because Superintendent Sarita Beeman is being targeted by those same book-banning, porn-reading, thinly veiled racists who are the same bad actors that disrupted the Tuesday, September 19, 2023 Seminole County School Board meeting with requests to ban books from our public school classrooms, reading lists, and media centers. Actually, their opinions on marginalized communities and people of color are not so thinly veiled at all. They are targeting Superintendent Sarita Beeman because she is African American. I am glad that you did not fall for this cheap racist stunt. If these same bad actors, who are irrational individuals, are not satisfied with the way Superintendent Sarita Beeman runs the Seminole County schools and or are dissatisfied with the Seminole County public school system, then I suggest they avail themselves of Florida's private school voucher system from kindergarten to 12th grade that allows any parent to send their children to any private school of their choice. But leave Superintendent Sarita Beeman to do her job and leave the Seminole County public schools alone to be able to properly teach students from kindergarten to 12th grade. Thank you.
Thank you. Bree O'Donnell, followed by Ann O'Donnell, followed by Kathy Mannion. Hi, good evening.
Hello, my name is Bree O'Donnell. I am currently a senior at Oviedo High School. I am enrolled in both honors and AP classes. However, I was not always the person standing before you. Back in elementary school, I struggled. It was not just English, it was all subjects. But reading was the class that created the nightmares and the horrors. I remember certain moments from elementary school like it happened just last week. These moments haunting my memories and morphing those memories to create the person you see before you. The memories of me reading aloud to the class, where every laugh from my peers was a tear, where every spelling test was a fight with my mom. But the worst part is looking back at my own writings and not understanding a single word. I can't compare and share my writings because there's nothing but letters on a page. Not even my name had the correct starting letter. As a kid, you don't think about your future, but as a senior in high school, you do. At the time, I did not understand, but now I do. I was given the greatest gift of all. It was not given by my parents or my grandparents, but by my second grade teacher. She gave me hope for my future, hope that I can be and do anything. She was able to get me identified with dyslexia. From there, I was able to take special classes to help improve my reading and writing abilities. Dyslexia does not have a cure, but I was able to learn strategies to help me improve my reading and writing. My writing is still far from perfect, and it probably never will be. However, it gives me answers to understand who I am and what I can do to help get me through my challenges. I was lucky to be identified, and more importantly, identified young. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
Order, please. Order.
Ann O'Donnell, followed by Kathy Mannion, followed by Deborah Kraus. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Ann O'Donnell, and I'm here to recognize October as Dyslexia Awareness Month. You just heard from my amazing daughter and her struggles. She is not unusual with dyslexia problems in school. She is an example of 1 in 5 students sitting in our SCPS classes every day. The difference is that she was not labeled as SLD. She was identified as dyslexic, and in a state that knew how to service dyslexic students. She received 2 years of daily phonics instruction to help her with her processing and working memory by a dyslexia teacher, and was required to have a teacher in each elementary school. We are proud of where Bree has come. She also has a 4.2 grade point average.
Wow.
We know and remember the tribulations that our entire family went through with her frustration of not being able to read and write. After being identified with getting correct services, our lives changed. This includes her 40-year-old father finally understanding that he was dyslexic and how his early education struggles had a name. Since moving to Florida, our family continues to advocate for themselves, but especially for others that did not have the resources that our Texas public schools did. I earned a dyslexia certificate through the University of Florida and continue to advocate and support Florida students, and proud to use my skills as an intervention teacher and SCPS. Again, October is Dyslexia Awareness Month, but for families like ours, it is a daily occurrence, and hope other families like ours will find the answers that our family struggled with for years.
Thank you so much. Deborah Kraus, followed by Robin Dellinger, followed by Carrie Dreiss. Good evening.
Hi, my name is Kathy Mannion. I'm mother of 2 SCPS students. A year ago, I found out that we no longer or the district no longer takes cash at outside events, and I was appalled because that's our U.S. currency, and my daughter was in civics and learning about our country, but yet our school district doesn't take our country's currency. I wrote an email. You all responded immediately. Mr. Rice responded very professionally, and my email was very self-centered about my own home. I continued to be bothered by it and realized that I was bothered because there is a large segment of our population that is disenfranchised when we do not take cash. We have a homeless population. They might be unbanked, and most likely are. We have an immigrant population, also unbanked. In order to get a bank account, we have to have a number of IDs. We are disenfranchising a portion of our student population by not taking cash. Additionally, my parents would never download an app to go watch my daughter's volleyball game. Why should they? They're in their 70s, and they're going to use an app once or twice a year just to go see their grandchild play a sporting event? To burden that, that's ridiculous. The people that are driving by the stadium and says, hey, why don't we go do this? Cannot walk into a football game and watch a high school football game because they didn't download the app and get a ticket on their phone. Or you have the students who lose the privilege of a phone for their behavior, but still should be able to participate in extracurricular activities. This is our currency. This is a phone. Please revisit the policy of no cash.
Thank you. Deborah Kraus, followed
Order,
by
please.
Robin Dellinger, followed by Carrie Dreiss. Hi, good evening.
Good evening again. All right, Deborah Kraus, Seminole County, Altamont Springs. So this time I'm here, and as I'm standing in front of the 8 of you, I'm amazed that there are 3 Florida Bar certified attorneys who believe that it is okay to come up with their own interpretation of a very clear and concise statute. Yes, once again, I am talking about Florida statute 1007.271, which is the dual enrollment statute. And since the legislature has amended it, since I last provided it to you, I went ahead and provided you all with another copy of the new version. Now, I can assure you that there is, for those of you who aren't attorneys, I can assure you that there is no law school anywhere in this country that will teach you that it is okay to interpret or appropriate to interpret any clear statute. For that reason, I have also included for you an appendix from the United States Supreme Court that outlines the rule of statutory construction and interpretation. Rule 1, the law should be given its plain meaning wherever possible. Rule 3, every word within the statute there is for a purpose and should be given its due significance. If you flip to the yellow tab, you'll see paragraph 18, where the last sentence reads, alternative grade calculation systems, alternative grade weighting systems, and information regarding student education options that discriminates against dual enrollment courses are prohibited. I've maintained that DE credits are given proper weight. However, Seminole County is the only county that discounts DE credits to 0.5 for purposes of grade point average. Mr. Rice has stated the reason for this is because DE courses can be completed in 1 semester's time. However, if you flip to the red tab, you will see that the legislature has now included this into the statute. Such equivalencies shall be determined solely on comparable course content and not on seat time as traditionally allocated to such courses in high school. The discount policy only affects dual enrollment students. That is the definition of discrimination.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Thank you. Robin Dellinger, followed by Carrie Dreiss, followed by Nina Sandberg.
Good evening again, board members.
Good evening.
My name is Robin Dellinger. Any superintendent has a challenging job, particularly in these very contentious times where politics rather than education often takes center court. The ongoing chaos and drama created by some should not distract us from the truth, however. Seminole County Public Schools is fortunate to have a superintendent that exemplifies integrity, fairness, and ethical behavior. How do I know this? From direct experience working with Ms. Beeman for many years, and now that I'm retired, from the vantage point of a private citizen that cares very deeply about our public schools. Ms. Beeman has demonstrated her ability to work effectively with administrators, parents, the unions, community and business leaders, diverse groups within the community, and elected leaders. Her work has resulted in a continued growth trajectory for the school district as recently documented by our A&A department. To reiterate, SCPS is an A-rated district. I think it's 22 times. SCPS achieved higher performance levels than the state average in every single measure in 2023, including ELA, math, science, algebra, geometry, biology, civics, U.S. history, and as we heard tonight, our ESOL students perform above state levels. SCPS grad rate was 93%, the highest among Central Florida districts compared to the state average of 87.3. All indicators suggest this trajectory will continue to result in improved outcomes for our students. The superintendent's #1 job requirement is to provide leadership. Ms. Beeman has done so as she continues to lead a premier school district in the state of Florida. Congratulations, Ms. Beeman, and thank you.
Thank you. Carrie Dreiss, followed by Nina Sandberg, followed by Ashley Pittman.
Hello. My name is Carrie
Good evening.
Dreiss. I'm an SCPS mom, a 20-year veteran teacher. Before I say what I came to say, I thought it would be helpful to read the actual definition of pornography, which is printed or visual material containing the explicit description or display of sexual organs or activity intended to stimulate erotic rather than aesthetic or emotional feelings. So the simple presence of a sexual act in a book does not constitute pornography, and I think there's a confusion out there about that. I want to say I respect, appreciate, and value all of you who sit up there. I know it is not easy, and I know firsthand dealing with every single one of you that the intent of your being there is the best interest of our students. I'm not going to lose my mind up here over a field trip or a few curses in a book or an innocent yearbook page. Those things do not create long-term success or demise of a student or a school. I do want to talk about a desperate need that we have firsthand in the classroom. The lack of and inequity of available technology across different schools is respectfully unacceptable. When testing season comes around, which now is 7 to 8 times per year, we lose our laptops, which constitutes nearly a quarter of our school year. The bell schedule is taken hostage. Our guidance counselors, SAMs, and administrators are taken hostage for those weeks to give the testing. Rather than being able to do simple simultaneous testing, we have to combine laptops to be able to accommodate those. Teachers go without laptops for weeks at a time. They are damaged in the process. If we had a one-to-one or simple availability per student of laptops at our schools, as many neighboring districts have had for nearly a decade, students would take better care of these devices.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nina Sandberg, followed by Ashley Pittman, followed by Katie Murphy. Good evening.
I'm Nina Sandberg. Please notice that the woke critical race theory and equity, diversity, and inclusion crowd practices new versions of racism, bigotry, prejudice, sexism, anti-Semitism, discrimination, exclusion, segregation, and hate. In the last several days, the fake woke crowd has been celebrating the wholesale genocide of Jews by Hamas in Israel because they are militantly anti-Semitic, just like the Ku Klux Klan and the Nazis. They have been protesting against the Jewish people all over this country and have been encouraging more violence against Jews, even beating up their own Jewish neighbors right here in the United States. How terrifying. I am forced to constantly remind you of the evils of the fake woke, critical race theory, and equity, diversity, and inclusion Marxist leftist ideologies. I don't want these hate-mongering, evil ideologies taught to my children. My daughter is in the 8th grade. You were supposed to be teaching her the Diary of Anne Frank this year. I have come to this meeting tonight to inquire as to whether or not you are planning on teaching the Diary of Anne Frank to the 8th graders at my daughter's school this year. It is an ongoing problem inside of SCPS that SCPS deletes necessary history, including Holocaust history. Perhaps if these fake woke anti-Semites had actually read the Diary of Anne Frank in middle school, they would not be running around encouraging more genocide of Jews, and they would not be attacking their Jewish neighbors either. It is imperative that SCPS teaches the Diary of Anne Frank in 8th grade again. Please, thank you.
Thank you. Ashley Pittman, followed by Katie Murphy, followed by Jessica Tillman. Hi, good evening.
Good evening, board members. My name is Ashley Pittman, and I am a 3rd grade teacher at Redbug Elementary. I wanted to share a critical concern regarding our district's 4th grade promotion requirements. My greatest worry is that the requirements will be lowered at the end of this school year, much like they were last year. Currently, the first promotion requirement is a 2 on the FAST. If this is all that is required, more than half of my 3rd grade could be promoted right now. Lowering the score gives the community the view that SCPS rather protect their rating than ensure their students are truly ready for the future. Last year, the required iReady promotion diagnostic score was reduced from a 534, which is an early 3rd grade level, to a 474, which is barely entering 2nd grade. This simply is not fair to our students. Too many are advancing to 4th grade ill-prepared, and it's impossible to bridge those gaps, especially with our current teacher shortage. We've heard the saying, we'll catch them in 3rd. But now, we're not even doing that. Teachers do their best to still request retention, but without district support, getting parental agreement is very challenging. Retention isn't a choice that any teacher makes lightly at all, but sometimes it's necessary for a student's future. I urge the district to take this matter seriously when setting promotion requirements in the future. Due to a statute, SCPS was able to reduce the state-mandated iReady promotion score last year. If it is at all possible to do the same with retention grades, let's consider making the mandatory retention year 1st grade. Imagine the impact of catching students early in their academic journey. This could transform our community along with our district rating. Let's prioritize student needs above all else. Education is their foundation for a bright future, and it's our duty to ensure it's solid. Together, we can create a system that prepares our students not just for test scores, but for success in life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Katie Murphy, welcome.
Hello, Superintendent Beeman and board. It's aggressive, mean, and potentially life-threatening. Bullying comes in many forms, and none of which are acceptable. October is National Bullying Prevention Month, and it reminds us that students, parents, teachers, and administrators all play a role in positive changes that come about as we begin to emphasize respect and inclusion on campuses throughout the country. The National PTA and its constituent organizations support policies and programs that address the prevention, intervention, and elimination of bullying. And we commend the School Board of Seminole County for the work that they've done on bullying and on cyberbullying. Thank you so much for that work in there and for your new policy tonight. One of the things that we've noticed also is that when bullying specifically addresses the topic of sexual orientation and gender identification expression as they relate to safety, inclusion, support, and accepting in a school environment free from violence, harassment, intimidation, and bullying, that the bullying does go down. One of the things I'd like you to look at in the future is the possibility of expanding the number of single-use and unisex bathrooms and restrooms and changing facilities for faculty and for students as we go on with new schools. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Jessica Tillman is our last speaker of the evening. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Tillman. I'm not surprised the instances are not reflected in the superintendent's evaluation tonight, but everyone knows the district is on fire, and it's at the hands of the superintendent and you complacent board members. This is what happens when you have an attorney for a superintendent who was equitably installed in an embarrassing and corrupt rescind vote by the previous board. I have yet to receive my public records request that is now paid for 3 simple email threads. No surprise, though, and the cost of public records requests has increased by 30% over the last 2 years. That's not an attempt to discourage public records at all. One of the books that we read on the 19th was challenged last year, and it's involved with incest and rape of a child as young as 5. And I'm pretty sure that's not appropriate for children. So we need to get these books removed. We've already started challenging them with the forms. So I'd like to make sure that we're not just fluffing the challenges and just saying, oh, it's okay. Because we at Moms for Liberty are excited about the progress we have made, but we have much more work to do. We are just getting started. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, do you have any final comments? We'll start with Member Garrick. Anything?
I just wanted to say I would be remiss about talking about the Business Advisory Board and not saying a special shout out to our sponsors, the businesses that sponsored the wellness event, which was Cigna and Advent Health, correct? For our
Orlando Health.
Orlando Health. Sorry, thank you so much. And of course we had lots of vendors as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Vice Chair?
I forgot to mention 2 things. One is Allie's Hope. That is our event for mental wellness, and we always have Seminole County there as well. That event, Glassful of Hope, is November 9th. It's on a Thursday evening at Crane's Roost. We will have a lot of vendors there, NAMI, including our schools, and all the things that we have been doing to implement the programs throughout our high school and middle schools with the help of our executive directors from high school, Mike Rice and Demetria Faison, middle school. So thank you so much for your support and helping with this. And also wanted to mention, I sit on the scholarship committee for PTSA for the state level, and we're already starting to accept applications. So if you go to the Google State PTSA or PTA scholarships, the applications are already there for our seniors. Get them in early. The criteria is there and ready to go. And we would like to see as many students from Seminole County receive those scholarships. Also, there's millions of dollars of scholarships that are never used throughout the state, throughout the nation. Google scholarships and you won't believe how many are up. Just how do you include milk in your daily life? So take advantage of all those different scholarships. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Pennick?
It's National Principal Month, and here on our website we have a way that you can submit a story that highlights a principal and how they've inspired you. So if you would take a few moments, I see at least one principal among us. Thank you, Ms. Little. We appreciate you very much. I'm hearing really great things about you over there. And if you post anything out on social media, use the hashtag #ThankAPrincipal. So thank you to all of our principals. We appreciate what you do every day.
Thank you. Member Davis, final
I
thoughts?
just wanted to thank all of you for coming. I really do appreciate the respect that we've all shown each other, and I am so happy to listen to what you have to say, all of you. And so I really appreciate it. Keep coming. Thank you.
Thank you. I had a couple of notes I was taking during comments. Could we ask staff to speak to Ms. Pittman about promotion and the issues she's having, as well as Ms. Dries about their equipment needs?
We'll certainly be in contact with both.
Okay, thank you. And did you have final?
And actually, board members, I would like to ask Dr. Scanlon to come up and give an update. Since our last opportunity to discuss the instructional materials and media selection process, and there are a couple of things that were said tonight. I just want to make sure that you all are fully aware of kind of where we're at in that process.
Thank you so much. Hi, Dr. Scanlon.
Good evening, Chair Kraus, Vice Chair Sanchez, board members, and Superintendent Beeman. Thank you for inviting me over to speak. I would like to clear some things up because I think there's some misinformation out there. Just to go back to objections, because I've heard that it's said a couple times that objections were ignored, and I want to assure you as the school board of Seminole County that no objections have been ignored. Last year, we received 8 objections. They were addressed, and the objector was satisfied with the outcome. This year, I had not received any objections until yesterday, and they've already been addressed, and the objector has received communication about that. So we aim to really address those formal objections that are followed by our policies and procedures very quickly and efficiently, because we do care about our community's concerns and we can care about our students. This year, something unique happened with the state where they, for the first time, published a state objection list. So that is a list that's compiled across the state of all materials in Florida that have been objected to and potentially removed from other school districts. As part of our new library media training, we are expected to review that list. So when that list was published on August 30th, our district staff started looking through that list to review the materials to see if they were appropriate or not for Seminole County Public School students. I did receive communication from Ms. Tillman and addressed her concerns and shared with her the list that we'd already worked through in regards to materials that were on a list that was submitted to the district on her behalf. And I just want to make sure, because I don't want anyone to be frustrated, simply submitting a list of books to the district to any member, staff member who works in the district does not constitute an objection. We have a policy that is aligned with state statute, and I've shared that information with Ms. Tillman and would be happy for her to share that with others so that they are familiar with the process. My contact information is on the Instructional Resources website. I'm Maureen Scanlon, in case you didn't catch that before. I welcome anyone to reach out to me. I'm happy to explain the process and walk people through so they don't become frustrated. We are currently still working through the list. There's about 300 books on the state objection list. 93 are not in our schools, and the other remaining books are. So we're still working through that. We're over halfway through the list. It does take time because we take vetting books very seriously, and we do follow the state guidelines for reviewing instructional materials and library media materials. So it is a timely process, but again, we're working very hard to address any concerns or any books that may not be appropriate for the age group or grade level and where they are in our library collections. Our first priority, just to help people understand what happens when we did that. So we did start looking at books in early September. Some books were deemed to be not appropriate, and our first priority is to remove those physically from the school library. Our second priority is to then update our management system. So just in case you're getting questions about that, I want to make sure that people understand our process is definitely to remove them from the library first and then update our management system, which is quite time consuming because we want to make sure it's documented appropriately and that they've been weeded out so we can run reports as necessary if we have questions about that. And we're going to continue to work. It's an ongoing process. So our status changes every day, and we just want to make sure our students have the appropriate reading materials in their library.
2 things. I feel like you have job security, number 1. And number 2, you must love reading.
Yes, I love to read. We have a book club at work. I have a book club outside of work, so we're reading all the time. It's great.
So any other questions for Dr. Scanlon? Member Penn.
Dr. Scanlon, how many people do you have in your department? I think that it goes for saying that our community needs to hear the big task that your folks are.
So the state requires that a certified media specialist review and select materials. So in my department, I'm a certified media specialist, and Stephanie Beasley is a certified media specialist. That's 2. But then I also have another staff member who assists us when we have to go out to schools and collect books and things like that. So 3.
And if you could give us an overview of your other responsibilities, because in addition to reviewing books, you're constantly looking and trying to bring new materials to our schools, to adopt, or to our libraries. So you have some supplemental materials so that our kids have the latest and greatest, yes?
Yes, so this year, one of my many responsibilities is conducting instructional materials adoption. So we're currently adopting for K-12 science and AP science classes. Very excited about that. I got to meet today with our middle school committee, and they're just a phenomenal group. They're so excited as they vet these materials. So that takes up a lot of time. We're doing 14 different instructional materials review. And again, that information is all on our instructional resources site, so anyone interested in that process can contact me for more information. I help support dual enrollment, reading programs. There's just a lot, anything the superintendent wants me to do. Other duties as assigned. So, but I do love my work, and it's very important to me that our students have access to reading materials that are appropriate. And so it's a passion of mine. So I consider it an honor to do the work.
And board members, I will have to say it's very evident that Dr. Scanlon loves her work and has been for many, many years. We are fortunate that she is on our team.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for wearing so many different hats, like
We're
all
very,
of our
very
employees. We
grateful.
really appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
If there's no, yes, Member Davis?
I'm sorry. Hold on 1 minute. I have one more question. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to
Sorry, my
recognize
apologies.
that one of your roles to prevent things from happening in the future is to review any requests for additions to the library or anything you want to bring in the library to assure that these books would be appropriate under the statutes and what you determine is good for Seminole County students. Is that right?
Yes, I appreciate you bringing that up. We do, all of our schools who are purchasing any reading materials or supplementary materials, periodicals, books, ebooks, or movies have to be vetted by a certified media specialist. So if the school does not have a certified media specialist, they will submit that to me, and Stephanie or I will review that material for appropriateness based on the statutory language and based on the library media training.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you so much, Dr. Scanlon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And with no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.